Last week, I have been to London to the O2 Arena to see Jordan Peterson and his team, the people that he gathered around him to launch ARC, the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. And I was surprised to see a lot of young people. Amazing. O2 Arena, if you have ever been to O2 Arena, it's huge, 15, 20,000 people you can get in there. It was, if I think it was full or almost full. So I would say between 15 and 20,000 people gathered there. So whatever you think of Jordan Peterson, uh, he is drawing a huge number of people, young uh, couples, older people interested in what he has to say. And I was interested to see what ARC is, the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. And well, first and foremost, it's an alliance of citizens that I guess wants to be responsible, or the message would be, I guess, to communicate responsibility. So that we need to be responsible citizens, actually we are responsible for everything that goes around us. Yeah. But I'm going to read to you their description in their bio on their YouTube channel, what they say about it. Decline is not inevitable. Purpose is found in contribution. Join us on our adventure. ARC is being established as an international community with a vision for a better world where every citizen can prosper, contribute, and flourish. Our ambition is to draw on our moral, cultural, economic, and spiritual foundations to imagine a future where empowered citizens take responsibility and work together to bring flourishing and prosperity to their homes, communities, and beyond. We are citizens from around the world, but each of us recognizes that our societies are at the turning point. The time to develop a better story is now, and we invite you to join us in building this vision together. So the purpose of the ARC conference was to develop a better story. As opposed to what? As opposed to the story or the narrative we are having now, and most of us are believing this hopeless, uh, apocalyptic, we are all going to die narrative that is provided to us by the far left, and everybody's embracing it for some reason. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy what goes on. And what I've been, uh, well, I've been um, impressed, so to speak, by Philippa Stroud, who opened the conference, and she's actually the CEO of ARC and the co-founder of the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. So she actually explained why we need a better story. Why do we need a better story? So I would like to read her piece. Human beings have always been storytellers. The stories we tell ourselves have immense power to shape us and the world around us, for better or for worse. Our shared stories and values are the golden threads that bind our families, communities, and nations together, up and down the generations. But across the UK and in many other developed nations, these stories have been undermined and deconstructed, causing us to lose confidence in ourselves and the fabric of our society to become frayed and fragmented. Studies by the Legatum Institute and other think tanks demonstrate there is much in our heritage and liberal democratic nations to be proud of. The last 200 years have seen an astonishing uptick in living standards. On every metric, from infant mortality to the education of women, life has got better. Meanwhile, from civil liberties and constitutional restraints to democratic participation, we see that healthy institutions lay the groundwork for prosperity. Why then do many feel we are in a permanent state of crisis, with perma crisis the word of the year? corrosive cultural criticism in recent decades have left the coherence of our cultural stories hanging by a thread. Our lack of a common narrative has left us feeling disillusioned and disempowered in a time when humanity is more prosperous, healthy, and better resourced than at any point in history. Physical health may be better than ever, but mental health and loneliness are spiraling. Our institutions have huge value and a strong track record, but we no longer trust them. In this established, in this in this destabilized context, we have faced a succession of cultural shakings: Ukraine, COVID, cost of living, climate, the rise of China, and rumblings in the Taiwan Strait. Each of these phenomena, in their own way, is contributing to a sense of anxiety. But without common cultural narratives and the philosophical reservoirs needed to provide individuals and communities with resilience, we are in danger of losing connection with and confidence in our historic foundations on which the prosperity of our nations have been built. It is people taking responsibility who have built our nations. But instead of trusting our people and raising up responsible citizens, we reach for increasing levels of government action. Top-down solutions are presented as the only way out of our challenges instead of delegated responsibility. I love that. I love that. But complex problems rarely have single univariate solutions. We saw COVID case numbers drive policy making at the expense of the poor in the lockdown period. And now we risk driving policy interventions to address environmental concerns without having an honest conversation about the trade offs for the poor at home or in developing and emerging nations. We clearly need a better story, and that is why we are forming the new Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, ARC. We cannot address a negative story by being against the permacrisis, declinist, power-based narrative of today. We can only let go of a negative story, but by taking hold of a better story. I love this. I love this. You cannot do away with anything without having something to replace it. We need a better story because the story so far does not provide hope, so to speak. Yeah. Throughout history, there has been a better story that has called us higher and not lower, into collaboration and not division, into responsibility and not passivity, into building and not tearing down. Our mission is to create a community that is committed to providing a positive and hope-filled vision for the future. Our organizing committee draws together public intellectuals from Arthur Brooks to Niall Ferguson to Jordan Peterson, along with politicians and business leaders from around the world. This committee will gather for the first time in London later this year for a conference of more than 1,000 international senior leaders from politics, media, culture, business, and academia. It just happened last week on the 1st of October at the O2 Arena in London. Yes, ARC aims to address the fundamental questions of our time. We will aim to explore a better story for the family, community, and nation, while also exploring how each individual can be empowered to live a fulfilled, responsible life as a citizen. We will wrestle with the need to responsibly steward the environment and our natural resources so that all people can benefit from access to affordable energy while also mitigating against future environmental challenges. Current trends towards crony capitalism, gigantism, and excessive corporate power will be critiqued, and we will explore ways to genuinely open markets and voluntary exchange can be fostered to create prosperity for all, including the left behind of globalization. But ultimately, the ARC community will reevaluate humanity's direction of travel and revitalize our vision of what it means to flourish. I'm joining ARC because I believe that now is the moment for this conversation. I have spent much of my life attempting to help those on the margins of society, working to support those in poverty, from the refugee to the addict to those who are homeless as they rebuild their lives. This has shown me that the stories we tell ourselves have the power to bring transformation. This is true of individuals, families, communities, and nations. This is why I'm optimistic about human potential and hopeful for our future. Through ARC, we want to realize this potential for good. Martin Luther King Jr. famously said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." We need a better story. That is why we are founding ARC. Actually, this piece was published in the Telegraph and was written by Baroness Philippa Stroud, the co-founder and the CEO of the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. She's the member of the House of Lords and the chair of the Social Metrics Commission. We need a better story. We need a better story. I love that. As individuals, we need a better stories. As communities, we need a better story. As a nation and as nations, we need a better story. Why? Because the hopelessness that is propagated by this apocalyptic narrative that we have today is not helping us. Fear only brings hopelessness, and I'm not I am not motivated by hopelessness. I need some hope. I need to see that there are things that can be better in the future. I need to see a better future, and for that I need a better story. And this is the time. I love this. I love what ARC stands for. I love the conference and everybody's speech, and I loved how Jordan Peterson and Jonathan Peugeot and Douglas Murray and then Ben Shapiro came at the end. They talked about this and they helped us to understand what they're all about. So hopelessness doesn't help me. I need hope and a better story that brings hope. So first and foremost, I want to apologize. English is my second language, so if I didn't read properly, I do apologize, and please forgive me. I'll try to do my best next time, and I'll do a better job. I'm growing every day. But if you're interested in the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, just go on YouTube, check it out, and look at the speech of every speaker that was there. I think there were about 90 speakers for about 3 days consecutively, speaking on a number of subjects. It was amazing. You can find it on YouTube, the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. I'll put a link in bio when this video will come up. So yeah, I do have to use Jordan Peterson's words at the end, is onwards and upwards. See you next time. Bye-bye.